Okay, good morning everyone. What I want to demonstrate to you all on today is roller sets. These are going to be vital key techniques that you will need to help you achieve the results that you're looking for. Now, when we're looking at a wet set, which is a roller set, you all want to make sure that you're draped properly. What is the correct draping? You want to make sure that you have a towel. Your towel holding it landscape, that means side to side, traveling horizontal. Dropping one corner and taking so you can fold it around your client's neck. Prior to the shampoo, you're going to take your wet cape and you're going to go in and you're going to wrap it. I'm just going to take and tuck this towel into the back to get it nice and secure. One of the things I want you all to keep in mind, never allow your cape to touch the skin. Keeping it away from the skin, great asset, okay? Also, when you're dealing, making sure that you have your hand sanitizer to keep your hands nice and clean at all times. When working with roller sets, we're going to go through some basic techniques that you all would have to utilize because this is going to be on your test. And so roller sets plays a strong role even when it comes to pin curls. Even though that you see pin curls up here, same systematic way when we're dealing with roller sets as well. So when we're looking at a base, there are three parts. We're talking about a base, we talk about a stem, and we talk about the curl. Now when we're looking at a base, the base is a stationary, non-moving foundation of a curl. That is what you're going to part at the scalp area. We're going to do rectangle base. Everybody say rectangle base.
Rectangle base.
The area that's closest to the scalp of the hair, which the hair is rolled in place. So that's what the stationary is. We're going to discuss in this lesson when we're dealing with rectangle base, square base, triangle base, and an arch base. And so these bases are going to be some strong fundamentals that help you to know what result to achieve. Now when we're looking at the stem, everybody say stem.
Stem.
The stem is the section of the pin curl or also with your roll curl in a direction and movement of the hair between the scalp and the first turn of that roller. So when we're talking about the first turn of that roller after we create a what first? Who remember what was the first thing we talked about? Say it out loud. Everybody?
Base.
Yes. After we have done the base, now we got to figure out the type of stem that we want to create. Whether if it's going to be a full stem or an off base curl, if it's going to be a half on base curl or with a half stem, or if it's going to be a no stem or on base curl. Okay? So they are vitally important when we're looking at that stem and you're dealing with somebody that has extremely curly hair. A lot of times when we're looking at ethnicities, they play a strong foundation. If you want a weak base or if you want a tight base. A lot of times when we're working with hair that is extremely curly, we always want to do a on base. Everybody say on base.
On base.
That means that it has no stem. That means that it has no stem. So what we're going to do is we're going to create that in producing the type of curl that you want to see. So that part of the curl, everybody say curl.
Curl.
Curl is the part of the curl that forms the complete curl. That's the size and the diameter and of the wave and also the strength. So when we're talking about harmony, when we're talking about size of rollers, we have some that are small, some that move up in size, and then we get some that are larger in size. So when we're seeing the different size of the roller, will determine the strength of that curl, whether if it's going to be a fast pace or a slow pace. Now, if someone's hair only goes around that roller one time, it's going to produce a bump. Everybody say bump.
Bump.
Everybody know what a bump is, right? It's just like a little C shape, right? And so it's going to produce a bump. But if it goes around 1.5 turns, then we're talking about it's going to produce a wave. Everybody say a wave. All right? So when we're talking about a wave, it's going to be 1.5 turns. With a bump, we're talking about 1 turn around this roller. Now, when we're wanting to do more than 2 turns and more, is going to produce a curl. Everybody say curl.
Curl.
Bingo. Y'all with me? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about, but we're going to go through the following steps on maintain and control. After receiving this information, now I'm going to ask you a question and let me know if you're with me, then you're going to be with me. So when we were talking about the size of the roller and how many turns that hair goes around that roller and produce, like if I say if it goes around 3 or more times, what type of what is it going to produce? A curl. If it goes around 1 time, it's going to produce a what? Okay, and if it goes around 1.5 turns, it's going to produce a what? You're with me. Give yourself snaps. Excellent. Now what we're going to talk about real quick, and I'm going to show you all when we're looking at a on-base curl. And we see an on-base curl up here. When I create my base, which is a rectangular, all right, a rectangular shape, then we're knowing how to produce. So a lot when we're combing hair is an art and a science, you all. So making sure that the teeth, everybody say the teeth. That means the teeth is at the comb, the spine of the comb is standing straight up towards the ceiling at all times, in direction, in rotation of the head shape. So therefore, you want to make sure you create grooves. That means that the hair is breathing, cause less detangles in the hair as well. We're going to create stationary areas that are going to be suitable for control. Everybody say control. But first, we're going to have our product. Product plays a tremendous role. Depending if you want to use a lot of product, that's going to produce a very crunchy curl. Everybody say crunchy. Crunchy. A crunchy curl. So when you're dealing with somebody that may have coarse hair, more product or concentrated product will be beneficial for that client's hair versus somebody that has fine texture hair. If their hair is fine, then you probably want to use and dilute your product. So therefore, that plays a tremendous role in producing the style that you're achieving. Because too much product create a film, and a week it'll break the curl. It doesn't produce a really nice tight curl or a nice foundation of a curl that we're looking for. So I'm going to give myself like a nice little golf ball size, a mousse. And I'm just going to start in the widest area of the head. Who remember what the widest area of the head is? Say it out loud and proud. Yes, the parietal ridge. So we're going to work that product through that hair, allowing it to breathe. I'm going to take my comb again, and then I'm going to start from the ends and begin to start working my way up towards the scalp area until I reach the very front of her face. So I'm starting from the back because I comb my hair to the back and allowing that hair, that product to distribute through the hair nice and even through that product. And that's what you want to make sure that you create. Nice saturation, even breaking that product and combing that product through until it gets to the scalp to the end. The hair has the ability to absorb moisture. Who remember what that word is?
Porosity.
Everybody say?
Porosity.
Yes, the ability to absorb moisture. So when we're going in and we're measuring our roller, we're going to take and place that roller here at the scalp area, and I'm going to part on left and right side of the roller. Now, anytime that you deal with a tool that has holes in it, everybody says a vent tool. That means that air could travel through that tool that you're using. So I'm going to go in and take and place that roller at the frame at the front of her head, and I want to make sure it's even. I'm just giving a basic standard, not saying that this is the formula that you use on every model that you have, but you want to make sure that you are practicing in a sufficient way that'll make you execute the style that you're going for. Now, I'm going to part, how many inches give you control? Who remembers? 2. Everybody? 2 inches. So 2 inches always give control. If you actually take and measure the vent holes on your roller, it's going to be 2 inches. That means that you have maximum control with minimum effort. Always say, never let them see you sweat, okay? So I'm going to go in and use that outer side of the vent on the roller, the hole, and I'm going to use that as my boundary lines. And boundary lines on the plane of the head, that's going to give me maximum control. Now, after doing so, I held it at a horizontal for the length. Everybody say length. That's the first step. After you create your length, now it's time to stand that roller up to do the what? Diameter. Everybody say diameter. That's how much hair goes around this here roller. So I'm going to stand it up, and I'm going to go in and part right behind that roller. After I part behind that roller, making sure all of this is techniques. A lot of time our clients that come in for roller sets, they want to leave out just with their roller set looking nice and neat, okay? And they don't want it combed out. They want to just let their curls fall, which is awesome. But there are different techniques in producing a result that can make it still look good when them curls fall and you don't see demarcation line of where each roller was placed. Does that make sense? Okay, we'll talk about that in the future. It's a technique and it's a more advanced scale. Now we're talking about a on base. Everybody say on base. On base. I produced and I created a rectangular base at the scalp. So I'm going to take and comb that hair away from me. Everybody say away. Away. That means that the comb is not coming toward me, but it's going towards her what? Face. Towards her face and away from her face. So now I'm going to take that comb, scissor holding that hair, and we're talking about 2 inches, maximum control, combing through that hair midway. Did I take it all the way to the end, you all? No, I did it midway. A lot of times when we take it all the way to the ends, and if the hair is not even, what's going to happen? It's going to fall away. Hair strands just going to start falling away. So you want to make sure that you go in, comb that hair away from you. Mid-shaft is where I am, halfway through the hair, gaining control, lining that roller up with my finger. Then I begin to start smoothing that hair over that roller, silking it. Do you all see how I'm using my hand as a board, a palette, to help to embrace that hair to stay on the roller? That's what I want you all to keep in mind while you all are taking and rolling that hair. I insert my thumbs through the holes, and the rest of my phalanges, those 4 fingers, are just going to embrace. And I'm going to add tension. Everybody say tension. Tension. Because we want it to look like a spool of thread. Everybody say a spool of thread. Spool of thread. Okay, that spool of thread. Thank you, mister. That spool of thread. One of the things I want you all to keep in mind, if you all have these little gaps that are inserted in that roller like that, there is a technique that we use to help to rock and roll. Everybody say rock and roll. Adding tension, that's going to help to clear all of those little gaps up in that roller as you begin to roll that hair up to that base and allowing yourself to be able to see it nice and smooth around that roller. Now, I'm going to take, this is another science technique that you can utilize. I'm going to turn her sideways so you can see. Here, we see that this roller is on base. It does not have a stem. That means, like, do you all see how right here, that little first arc, and you can see that it is coming away off the roller? If somebody have extremely curly hair and you rolling it, it's gonna create a what at the base? At the stem area, what? Huh? It's gonna puffy, yes. Everybody give her snap, snaps. It's gonna puff up. So she want that hair really nice, tight, smooth, wrapped around that roller so it'll create smoothness for the design that you're looking for and not no big poofy design. Does that make sense with a curl on the end? All right, so what I'm gonna do is take my finger, everybody take your index finger, your pointing finger, and then it's going to be inserted, pressing it down at the base of the head. So when you press it at the base of the head, then you take your double prong clip that you're working with and you line it up with your finger. And when you line it up with your finger, it just inserts in. So now you don't have to take and put 50,000 clips to get that roller to hold on in that one place. If we establish it at the base, then we're going to produce the results that we're going for. Are you with me? Say yes. Okay, so when we're talking about an on-base curl, do you all see how, let me see if I could tilt her head forward. How you can actually see the line that I created from the rectangular base. It's not projecting below it or half on it or half off that line, okay? So that's what I want you to keep in mind. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a panel of rollers that is going to be from the center of the head, and we're gonna take it all the way past the apex, center of the apex, past the center of the crown, through the parietal ridge, passing the occipital area, all the way down till we reach the back center of the nape. Okay? If you with me, say yes. Yes. And we're going to create a on base. Everybody say on base. On base. Are you with me? Say yes. Yes. Okay, so everybody put your hands towards me and we're going to say rock and roll, okay? At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Rock and roll. Okay, let's get started. Let me hit that.